gonna find breaking news. I'm gonna tell you. He's gonna go to the Clippers or the Oregon State Toronto.
I don't know. I'd be so mad if he went to the Clippers. I'd rather him go to the Raptors than the Clippers.
It is fun. It's a good energy class, but we have a selected time to go, but we're all thinking we're going to so we don't know if you're ready to go. You're like, yeah. That's the one on next week. That's I like the ant. I'll be better next week. Who knows? You know what? Just more than
Good morning. My voice isn't with me yet today. Allergies. So, this is the day that you became seniors. I guess technically yesterday. In the dental hygiene program. You are based on your units and your didactic courses. You are not seniors yet though in the clinic. So you're still doing junior clinic requirements, as you well know, because you're in 376 with Mrs. Lee doing more competencies. So I know that yesterday you had some introduction to our new East Clinic. I saw you getting your lockers. Hopefully, did everybody get their lockers settled yesterday?
No.
No, it's not settled.
We're still waiting for some seniors to turn in their keys.
Oh, okay. I think there were 2, but they should have done that by now. So check with Kathy today, because they were told yesterday. So I know at least one was here. So your locker for your clinic supplies will be in that south wing where the other hygiene clinic used to be. And then you'll have, the ladies will have a locker down in the lounge, but the guys will not. And it'll stay that way through the end of the, through spring quarter. Unless, of course, there's a change. So there's always potentially in this next couple quarters going to be a few changes because of the clinic curriculum and the redesign for the pre-doc students. So we have to sort of move, when they tell us. No, we will not be moving out of the East Clinic, I know that. But the one change that I just learned about at 5 o'clock last night is that you'll have a new coordinator. Not the coordinator you met yesterday.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh.
Adriana is not going to be with us. Probably next week, definitely tomorrow, most likely next week. But after that, there will be a new coordinator assigned to us, who they tell me, and who I am going to mandate, has a lot of experience. So, we'll see where that goes. It's better that it happens now than fall quarter, okay? So, at least, we've got to get somebody on board get them communicating well with you before we bring in all the new students, of course, in September. So, no one else knows that except for you guys. Miss Lee doesn't even know that. So I will text her as soon as I get done with classes. I'm sure it's going to go quickly. She's going to have a fit. But anyway, yeah. And you know, things happen. So we will have another coordinator, Jeanette, who you all know will do some subbing until they determine the person for hygiene. And Millie, who you know as well, has subbed quite a bit. She's the supervisor of all the coordinators. So you'll have some consistency in that. None of the faculty that I'm aware of are going anywhere, so that's good. And as far as Barbara is concerned, she's in her seat as well. So I think the changes, while the clinic will be new, a little different, there have been in the past when we were in that East Clinic as hygiene students. It's probably been about 6 years ago. There's some definite advantages back there. Number one, we're closer to perio than there's consults. We are, you know, a wall away basically from pre-doctoral groups, which is the whole goal is to get patients into the hygiene clinic that are heavier cases. I mean, that's what the dean and I have been talking about. Dr. Esty, Dr. Fitzpatrick, for a long time. So Dana knows, she's been sitting in some of the meetings, you know, that we've had with our deans, and so that is the focus. The South Clinic, I think as you're well aware, is now what they call the Wellness Center. And what they're trying to accomplish with that is bring the whole screening process into one area. It used to be scattered through the groups on the clinic floor, and there was not a lot of consistency. So right now we have 2 dentists in the screening clinic, general dentists. We have prosthodontists, periodontists, and basically any other specialty that they would need to help with patients. So new patients are brought into that clinic, the South Clinic now. They're initially screened quickly by the dentist and decided if they're a patient of, I hate to say value, but a patient that a dental student, hygiene student, postdoc could work with, okay? So there's a selection process. From there, then the D3s and D4s, as they're assigned in that clinic, are working with the whole assessment process, whether that's a comprehensive exam, most likely, if it's a new patient, or a periodic exam if it's a return patient that hasn't been here for a while. So, from there, our goal is to, by fall quarter, if not for sure winter quarter, start integrating 2 or 3 of you into that South Clinic on a block rotation, similar to what you do at other offsites. So you would be then assisting with the pre-doctoral student and the dentist, and most likely the periodontist, with data collection and potentially x-rays. And the goal is to sort of get your hands on patients that need root planing and some sharing going on with the pre-doctoral. So that's what I'll be talking with our deans and the Division of General Dentistry, Dr. Juan, and how we can integrate our students in their final year, because that's when you guys really need those last 2 quarters to see the heavier cases to get ready for boards. That's sort of an overview. Any questions that you have? Yes.
Will we still be having Dr. Joel with us?
Yes, you will. Good question. Yeah. You didn't see her yesterday, I suppose. Okay. Yeah.
Adriana, the previous coordinator, she had told us that she booked us out to about September 4th. Will those appointments all stay the same?
Oh, yes. Yes. Anything that's put in Axiom. So she's booked you guys out.
Not completely.
Yeah,
No, she shouldn't. Yeah, because you'll need some return appointments in there. Yeah. But that's good. I'm glad to hear that because I hadn't heard that. So, yeah, anybody who steps in is going to have a lot of experience right now with Axiom. So that's not going to be an issue at all. It's just, getting to know you, knowing you know, if you have questions, where to go. Of course, our coordinator is not obviously in South Clinic anymore. They're sitting there in the main hallway as you come in from the waiting area. So, and that used to be the hygiene coordinator. So we do have an office, and I think Mrs. Lee talked to you about that yesterday, a clinic office on the floor, just around the corner from where you go into the East Clinic. So we do have a faculty presence up there, and a place where we'll have a holding area. You know, we used to have a big storage room there in South Clinic. Now we have an office which will have some storage in it, and then Larissa Spadeo will be in there as well. So you'll have a place to go if you need to. Unfortunately, we don't have any lockers up there near the East Clinic. So hopefully in the future we can get those back. We used to. There's a large IDP presence now in the school, so we have to support that group as well. Any other questions? But I'm glad to hear you're booked out. That's good. Need those. So the goal of this summer clinic is to have you seeing at least 3 or 4 new adult cases, and it could be return patients as well, but new to you, okay? So don't feel like you have to be overwhelmed with patient numbers. Some of you might end up seeing 8 to 10 patients this summer. It just depends on how easy the patient is, how quickly you can get through them. And you do have a set of competencies, obviously, you have to get through. But it's not a heavy summer quarter. Fall is going to hit you hard, okay? So we want to give you lots of experience with basic cases, adult COVID cases. Some children might be mixed in there too, just based on what Miss Lee needs for you guys to meet your numbers there. We are a competency-based program, meaning that you have a certain level of understanding, knowledge, skill, and value to graduate. We don't have a numbers requirement of numbers of patients. We sort of have an average number that everybody sees because of the numbers of times you're on clinic. But we're not holding you to saying like, okay, you have to see 8 replanning cases, or you have to see, 25 adult prophy cases, or 15 children cases. Some schools do that. We've chosen to do the competency-based. So basically the patient you get in your chair is the patient you treat. And the patient you treat will hopefully help you meet some of your competencies, your skill requirements throughout this summer and then the next 3 quarters in the senior year. Everybody sort of progresses at a different time frame. So don't freak out in summer if you don't feel like you haven't had those heavier cases. Now, there are a few requirements this quarter to get what they call eligibility. That should be a familiar name to you now, right? Did you talk about eligibilities yet? No, you all look blank, so it's not. Okay. Eligibility, Ms. Lee will be describing that for you, are cases of root planing. It doesn't even have to be a whole quadrant. It can be mixed teeth within the dentition, but they're moderate calculus cases. And they're done under a certain amount of time, so I believe they give you 2 hours to do the scaling. And then your faculty will come and they'll evaluate that. And what it does is it gives you an idea of what's going to be required when you start in fall and winter looking for those harder root planing cases to do your, what we call CBCs or clinical competencies on. You heard the seniors talking about those, I'm sure, all spring quarter, getting those patients to practice for boards. And I will let you know that all the seniors who took Rev and credits within the last end of May through middle of June, they all passed 100%. So we were really proud. They did a great job. So it's a stair-step process, basically. We're getting you your feet wet, hands wet, keeping you going. This summer, lots of adult patients, a lot of perio maintenance, throwing in a little bit of root planing to help you guys, understand what's going to be required of you next year, fall, winter, spring. And then we're going to throw you to the lions, basically, after that. So it's not that bad. But what I want to emphasize though is timing is going to be different for each of you. But as a class, you're a little larger than the last class, 41 I believe. But you're going to have to work together. And summer is a good time to start, that process of helping each other, making sure that those students who might not get that patient just in their lap that day they need it, if there's some sharing that can be done, the faculty will always help you out with that as well. Identifying potential patients that can help more than one student. Now the patient has to agree to that, of course, but generally they do. They know what the school is. So that sort of segues into what, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, well, we'll come back to that when I think about it. This class, as we meet Tuesday mornings, we won't meet every Tuesday, but the majority of them will have something going on. I know Dr. Oyoyo is teaching, 8 to 10 statistics. And are you in this room or down in the hall? This room, okay. And then I believe the dates are here on the other side of the screen for Dr. Leggett doing ortho. He's coming in about 4 times. He's a really fun guy, and he'll test your understanding at the end of August, I believe, for his final. I do not have a final in portfolio. This is professional portfolio class. There are minimum requirements for summer. There are some requirements that are a little more stringent for autumn quarter, end of autumn quarter. There are no requirements for winter quarter because you're all getting ready for national boards. But there is a capstone portfolio project due the end of May 29. Now all this will be in your syllabus. It's not quite ready yet. I haven't posted my Canvas course yet. You'll have that next week. And basically what you're going to be doing in this class is working with a faculty mentor. That was what I just forgot. Okay. So all the clinic requirements I was talking to you about summer, you're going to be assigned to a faculty mentor and a dental hygiene full-time faculty. Okay? So we have about 9 faculty that oversee your portfolio production with you. The portfolio is electronic. So you've used, I believe, VIA a little bit. Is that right? No? No? Okay. I guess they stopped that. So we will be getting you a sign-on next week. I have a meeting Monday, and then I'll see you on Tuesday. We'll be getting you a sign-on to what we call VIA or Watermark Live Text. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Yeah. VIA is technically, I believe, the new term. Live Text was the company that got bought out, but it's sort of used together. So if you hear VIA, Live Text, Watermark, it's all basically the same thing. It's accessible through Canvas homepage for each course, but you can just log directly into the website as well. So do you have a sign-on now, each of you, for Live Text? Okay. If we haven't used it, we'll have to, obviously get your password updated. But that's where you're going to start with developing your portfolio. And a portfolio, as we'll talk about more next week, is a culmination of basically everything you've done here as you've been training. Yes?
Are we using the same live text account as our service learning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a different section. You'll go into the portfolio course instead of the service learning course. So there's a list of courses that have used live text. Miss Lennon used to use it a lot, but I think she dropped out of it a little bit. But it's been good. This will be our 5th year of using live text for electronic portfolio. Has anybody developed a portfolio before? In any other? Yeah. What was it for artwork or?
It is for education.
Yes, education. Yeah, yeah. So I'll be giving you some literature, some reading to do about, what the benefits of portfolio and the negative side of portfolio, and you'll figure that out pretty quickly what the negatives are. But overall, It's a resource that will keep track of what you're doing in our curriculum and showing competency. When I said we're a competency-based program, that means that we're accredited through the American Dental Association. Every 7 years, we go through a long process of being reaccredited. So the last time we reached our full accreditation was 2016. So we're coming up to another full accreditation in 2023. But we have to do all the write-up and look at our outcomes, student graduation rates, GPAs, success on competencies. So everything about each of our graduating classes is put into data banks, and then we spit it out and write up what we call a self-study for the American Dental Association. So we can stay accredited, so that means you can be licensed and graduate as a professional dental hygienist. So using this portfolio, we actually use this as our final outcome that you've been successful in the program. Faculty you'll be assigned to a faculty mentor. There will be about 4 of you in a group. So some of you will be assigned to Mrs. Hayton, some to Ms. Withers. We don't let you choose. I'm sorry. Barbara does this, and she does an extremely good job on matching your personalities and the faculty personalities. So I think you'll find it interesting and who you get hooked up with. But, so there is one requirement this summer that you meet with your faculty mentor and discuss the development of your portfolio. That has to be done by the end of August. And this will all be in the syllabus next week. You'll get it posted on Canvas. You can read through it. But it's a fun time. The faculty have been doing this a number of years. They know normally what your questions are and can help you as you develop your own creative portfolio. So that's enough about this class. More next week. But I do want to talk to you about what we call the degree compliance report. So if you can go on to your homepage, I picked this up in Banner, and I'm not sure, is that where you get your grades still, Banner? You recognize that? Like if you want to get your end of the quarter grades, where do you go?
Right here.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so instead of grades, you're going to go to degree compliance report. And it should pull up your degree compliance report, your name, your student number, ID. So I want you to pull that up right now. Is the wireless working okay?
From June 30th or October?
The latest one. Yeah, October was when you came in, so it'd be June, yeah. So they update monthly. And what we need you to do is, and I've already done this, so I know, but I want you to get familiar with looking at this and making sure that you're meeting your requirements towards graduation. I can't really show anybody to give you an example, but what you'll see is 5 what we call domains. And the first domain is your religion and humanities domain. I've talked to a few of you about this, so I think you'll understand a little bit. So there's a summary at the top. Does everybody see the summary of their units that are brought forth from your previous schools? Shows your GPA total as well. Okay, so you don't have to worry too much about that summary area. But the next area would be, well, you see the cumulative GPA. Then the next area is comments. So these comments have come straight from admissions office. So when were accepted, either admissions gave this information to student records, or student records is saying, how is this going to get fulfilled to meet your baccalaureate degree at graduation? So some of you might have comments, some of you might not. If you have comments, that means that either the course isn't fitting in to one of these 5 domains correctly, or you didn't take the course, you didn't finish the course, maybe you didn't get a transcript sent, maybe you didn't pass the course, all kinds of things, okay? So look at your comments, and then the next section is called Domain 1, and that's your religion and humanities. And you see by that you have to have 28 units of religion, minimum, and humanities to get your baccalaureate degree here at Loma Linda. So that's a combination of 8 units of religion that you're taking here while you're in the program. And most likely the majority of you are pulling in at least 20 units of humanities from your previous prereqs. Unless you went to an Adventist college. And then you're required to bring in 4 units a year of religion from an Adventist college. If you attended a full year, you have to have 4 units per year. So those of you who have a mixture of public, school, or private, Adventist colleges, that proration will be a little different. But ultimately, 28 units has to be in that Domain 1, combination of religion classes and humanities classes. Any questions on Domain 1? Yes, Dan.
So for instance, mine says I have 26.50, and it says you get 8, you need 8 religion, but I only have 4. So are we getting the remaining 4 the next couple quarters? Okay.
Yes, you're getting 2 units in fall. You're going to take an ethics class, which precedes my ethics class that I teach you in winter. And then in spring, you're going to get marriage and family. It's a relational class. So those 2 and 2. Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll never see right now that you've been met in your religion because you're still working on it. And sometimes they're not even posted for the last term. Yeah, we took one in spring. Yes.
I signed a form, like a variance form, and did they process that already, or?
That's a good question. Variances, unfortunately, there's no tracking on those, so I'll have to talk with. Was that through Christina or through me?
That's through you.
Yeah. Okay. I know I've talked to a few. What's happening on some of you is your sciences. If you're bridge, or even maybe not even bridge, your sciences were over 5 years old. And the university will not articulate or put on this DCR to meet those domain requirements in natural science, a science course that's over 5 years old. Now the other courses can be over 5. Humanities, fine, no problem. English, communication, but it's the sciences they want you to have current. So it could be that we have to do what we call a variance on those to allow them to be brought in and meet your requirements. Other courses that could be outstanding were cultural anthropology. A lot of you will have to take that while you're here if you haven't already started. Yes?
I have 2 questions. So what does SKR mean?
Oh, that's Sandy Reber. She's the that's her initials. She goes through and reviews all of her hygiene. So it's a person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then for the intro, because I know other people have this, for the chemistry class, many of us took a class that had all of it.
Right. And for some reason, the computer didn't figure that out. And so I will have to, if it's a 6-unit course from a community college, and that means basically you've taken 1 semester of a full introductory course of chemistry. So what I have to do is I pull up the course description from your college, and then I submit a variance. Shouldn't have to, but it's just one of those things. That will be fine for you. Unless it says you didn't get biochemistry with it. Sometimes they don't add biochem. But I think. Yes.
It's not related to this, kind of. If we continue, if we are a bridge and we continue in the field of dental school and our science seems fine, are we going to retake those classes? Or?
My understanding is if you're in the bridge and your sciences are over 5 years, they're accepting those. I know we are in the hygiene program. If you've had the right sciences. Some didn't have micro. Some haven't had a biochem. Or, there's some gap. But the 5-year issue is waived. And we can do that because that's a program requirement. The general education requirements, which are your domain 1 and your English and speech as well, those are university requirements, and I can't change those. You don't have them, you have to take them to get a baccalaureate degree here. So I know some of you have already baccalaureates, some have masters. You know, every school has a little different, university has a little different take on what's required. So, but we have to meet these domain requirements. Can't not meet them. It's either through a variance or through the actual course and passing the course. Remember, C-minuses don't come in. You can graduate with a C- in dental hygiene course, but you can't come in with a C- in your course. You have to retake it. Yeah.
Well, it's just the didactic courses, so like junior clinic doesn't show up on.
Right, and don't worry about that. Anything in the core dental hygiene, those grades are going to be posted eventually. Don't worry about those. It's only your prerequisites that I'm worried about. Having you look at right now to have your where. Yes.
And those just have to be met by the time we graduate.
Well, that's a good question. Actually, the sooner the better, because what happens is it generally takes a while. So if some of you have a class missing, say cultural anthropology, and you've got to take it online, those courses usually drag out a little bit, especially if they're correspondence. So you've got to get it done, and I put a May 1st deadline because if you're not done by next May, it takes sometimes 3 to 4 weeks just to get your grades posted from these schools and a transcript sent. And that means you're hanging out over graduation without those courses on your degree compliance, and we can't give you a letter of sign-off. So it holds up your license. I've got a couple students from the senior class having that situation. You know, their transcripts just aren't here. Haven't finished the class for some reason or something. So basically, you know, they're done with our program, they passed their boards, but they're on hold because we don't have the courses to meet that domain in the degree compliance report. And university won't submit for their diplomas. So the sooner the better. Don't put it off because next fall and winter are really busy. Yes?
When you said that if you have a C- or less, I guess, then you can't go on to doing a bridge program. What about teaching? Does that have to be?
I didn't say that.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know who said
I'm
that.
not sure
I didn't
exactly.
say that.
But
what I'm saying is, the university will not accept a C- on a transcript when you apply, and it won't articulate to your degree compliance report.
Okay.
Okay?
What about teaching though? If we did want to go on from being in a clinic setting, and we want
There
to
is
teach.
I don't have any requirements. Other schools might, but I don't.
I thought it was if you had a C, if it was A and B, you're good. If you have any C's, you're out, type of thing. It's not like that.
Not here. No, No, it has, there's other, things we look at, but, yeah.
Unused courses.
Oh, good. Unused classes, unarticulated classes, that's at the very end. Those are courses that you've taken that show up on your transcripts that you send to us, but they don't have any meaning for this program. They don't fit. Now, occasionally, there'll be a class that'll be in your unused that I can use, but for some reason the computer didn't pick it up. Generally, it doesn't usually work that way, but occasionally there'll be something in those unused. I always look at that before we have you take another class. Yes?
If we have an extra religion class, can we put that in and then not take a religion class
No. No, the 4 religion classes you have to take here on campus are mandatory.
Okay.
Just like any other dental hygiene program. We've chosen courses that are specific to the curriculum for professional development, as well as like the ethics course supports the professional ethics course. The wholeness course supports whole person care. So no. Even if you took an Adventist heritage course at Walla Walla or PUC, you still have to take the Loma Linda heritage course.
Basically, those 8 will be in our curriculum.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you don't have to worry about those. It's only students who've gone to an SCA college and may be gone for a year and a half and only have 2 units of religion. Those are the students that get hit, unfortunately. Yes. Yeah. So.
What if they send a transcript, like if you took classes, I took classes in the, I would say the first quarter of my junior year. I sent in my transcript, but it's not updated on it.
Well, then you need to check on those transcripts. And you can also check with Christina in our academic affairs office on 5th floor. And she can check to see if it's arrived. But see, they're updating these every month with new transcripts.
Because they wouldn't, it was like a hold on my financial clearing, and they cleared me, they said received it, but it's still,
Well, they did that, so, because if we didn't clear your hold, you wouldn't be here. So, yeah, they'll clear your hold from student affairs. Tanya will do that. But it's still, if it's not showing up as a met course and you don't have transcript to show for it, that has to be taken care of. So, we can talk about that. But yeah, just because you asked for a transcript to be sent from another school doesn't mean we got it. It doesn't mean they did it. I mean, we've had issues like that. So, that's, yeah.
So you said you're going to look into the whole chemistry thing. I just want to know, because I don't want to face problems later on where it's still not met.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I want you guys though to be aware of this DCR, so you can check it every month, especially if you have outstanding things. I'll be getting through the summer paperwork to you if we're going to do a waiver or say we're going to ask for a variance. Waivers don't happen often, okay? So don't count on those. Okay, I think that's enough of that. If you didn't have your computer here today or for some reason, please review this degree compliance report. If you have any questions, you can always talk to me in my office, send me an email. Because I don't want to wait till next spring to make this happen. We have to get working on it now, if you haven't already. Okay, let me see. I think I have one more thing. I'm not sure that Miss Lee mentioned this to you yet, and some of you I think attended what we call Careers in Dentistry. Any of you attend Careers in Dentistry? Okay. Well, now that you're here, you get to help out with that. So, we will be having, and I believe, let's see, today's the 2nd, 8th, so the 15th of July. Should be on a Monday? Okay. You do not have clinic that Monday afternoon, but I do expect all of you, attendance required, to be helping with our Careers in Dentistry lab. Yes.
Do we get service learning hours?
You do. You do get service learning hours, yes. It'll be 2 hours, basically. And I think you might even get lunch. Don't quote me on that, though. I'm not sure. So from 3 to 5 Monday afternoon, actually we'll start at 2, getting everything ready. That's Monday the 15th of July. We will be having you work with the attendees from Careers in Dentistry. There's generally about 70 students. Most of them are looking at dentistry. You'll figure that out real quick, because I already have. But there are quite a few that, might end up with hygiene as well. So it's interesting. It's fun to talk with them. They're probably people you know. We'll be in the main 1101 classroom. And we'll have you bring your typodons, a few instruments, most likely. Miss Lennon will be overseeing that in Miss Lee, and determine what you need for instrumentation. They'll go through the Cherry experience with the anesthesia. They put the anesthesia into the Cherry instead of each other. And then what else do we do? So it's basic instrumentation skills on the typodons, anesthesia, and some lecture, positioning, ergonomics, how you hold your instrument, things like that. So all the things you guys know perfectly now. Yes?
So is this for other people to come in to see if this is what they would be interested in doing?
Yes, it's called Careers in Dentistry. It's a workshop they hold every summer. They bring in, I think the students start coming in on Sunday. We see them on Monday. They're here through Wednesday morning or something. So they have a lot of experience. different, like with different specialties, and they do some wax up. Easygoing, but you do get. I'm glad Albert said that. And I think that's all I have for today. So, guys, be watching for your Canvas course. I'll be posting that next Monday. Nothing's due, but just have that ready to go. Make sure you have computers and everything. Yes.
Activate our
Yes. We'll talk about that next week, but yeah. Need a new password on VIA? Go ahead, Zach. You'll see, I don't know that you'll see 328 in there yet, though. It'll probably be from the last. I have it dated on the 16th. We might get it next week. Yes.
Miss Marshall, I know we discussed this already. You said 5 years, and when I finished it, so who would I? Well, I did sign one. But wouldn't that be just incorrect because it shouldn't even be there in the first place? Because I finished it within 5 years of the series. Because we started in 2018. Because 5 years would have been 2019. So they just. 153. Well, they have everything else from Cal Baptist. So. Okay. Thank you very much.
So that will be
So I know we talked about PE